The sun was only beginning to stretch its fingers over the rugged New Mexico horizon when Ethan Cole rode into the little frontier town of Dry Creek. Dust clung to his boots, his hat sat low, and his eyes, sharp as desert glass, held the weariness of someone who'd seen too much too soon. At just 23, Ethan had already lost his father to a cattle raid, buried his mother through a fever, and inherited a struggling ranch that was one drought away from ruin. He came to town for one reason: to sell a few cattle, get supplies, and ride back before nightfall. But in places like Dry Creek, a young rancher with Apache blood didn't get treated kindly. As Ethan tied his horse outside the saloon, the whispers began. "That's the half-breed boy," someone muttered. "Shoulda stayed out on the mesa," another spat. Ethan ignored them. He'd heard it all before. He just needed the cash from the cattle sale, enough to keep his ranch alive a few more weeks. Inside the saloon, the air smelled of whiskey and gun oil. Laughter stopped when he stepped through the doors. Behind the counter stood Bill Harlan, the town's merchant and a man who'd always had a sneer ready for Ethan. "Well, look what the wind dragged in," Harlan said, polishing a glass that didn't need polishing. "How's life on that empty patch of dirt you call a ranch?" Ethan dropped a folded paper on the counter, proof of sale. "Just need supplies. Flour, beans, ammo." Harlan smirked. "You got money for that, boy." Ethan reached into his coat and set down a small pouch of coins. The saloon went quiet as a few ranch hands nearby, men who'd known Ethan's father, stood to watch. Harlan picked up the pouch, weighed it in his hand, then poured it out. Coins scattered across the counter and floor. "Looks short," he said mockingly. "Maybe you can earn the rest. Heard the Apache pay good for spies." The laughter came sharp and cruel. Ethan said nothing, just gathered the coins back into the pouch. But when he bent to pick one up, one of the cowhands, Jake Reynolds, the sheriff's drinking buddy, stepped on his hand. "Careful, kid," Jake drawled. "Don't want to get blood on our floor." Ethan's jaw tightened. He stood up slow. "Move your boot." Jake grinned. "Make me." It happened fast. A shove, a swing, a crash of glass. Before Ethan could defend himself, 3 men held him down while another poured whiskey over his head. They threw him into the street, laughing as the mud splattered across his shirt. From the ground, Ethan said nothing. He just stared back, eyes cold, burning with quiet fire. Harlan leaned on the doorframe. "Next time, stay where you belong, half-breed." That night, Ethan rode home in silence. The desert wind howled around him, carrying with it the distant drums of the Apache Hills, his mother's people. He hadn't spoken to them in years, not since his father's death. But blood remembers, and when pride breaks, blood calls. 3 days passed. Then, one morning, a lone figure appeared on the ridge above Ethan's ranch. She was tall, wrapped in a crimson blanket, her black hair braided with eagle feathers. It was Naisha, daughter of Chief Taza, the Apache queen of the desert warriors. "You have the eyes of your mother," she said softly when Ethan rode up to meet her. "And the fire of your father. What brings you here, Naisha?" Ethan asked. "Word travels," she said. "They shamed you in the white man's town." "It doesn't matter." "It does to us," she said, eyes glinting like flint. A warrior's spirit was spat on. "You may live between two worlds, Ethan Cole, but both have claimed you now." Ethan looked toward the valley. "If I strike back, they'll hang me. They always wanted a reason." Naisha stepped closer. "Then let them hang the wind. At dawn, your honor will be answered." He frowned. "What are you saying?" Naisha raised her hand. "At dawn, 350 warriors will wait for you in the canyon. You will lead them." Ethan's breath caught. "That's not my fight." Naisha smiled faintly. "It became yours the moment they made you crawl." He rode home that night with her words echoing in his head. Sleep wouldn't come. The memory of laughter, the sting of humiliation, it all replayed like wildfire in the dark. By midnight, Ethan saddled his horse and rode toward the canyon. The moon hung low, lighting the desert in silver. As he neared the ridge, shadows began to move, dozens, then hundreds, warriors painted for battle, horses restless beneath them. The ground itself seemed to hum with power. Naisha stood before them, her spear raised. "The white town mocks one of our blood," she said. "This morning, they will remember respect." Ethan's voice broke through the silence. No killing. I won't have innocent blood spilled. Naisha turned to him. Then lead us, and choose the way. At dawn, Dry Creek woke to a thunder like none had ever heard. The sky filled with the dust of charging hooves. From every direction, Apache riders descended, not with war cries, but with precision, surrounding the town in a perfect circle. Men stumbled from their beds, guns half loaded. The sheriff ran into the street, shouting orders. But when he saw Ethan at the head of the riders, his face turned pale. Harlan came stumbling from the saloon, still clutching a bottle. What the hell is this? He barked. Ethan rode forward, eyes like steel. This is respect. Harlan tried to laugh, but his voice cracked. You brought Indians to scare us. You'll regret. Before he could finish, Naisha's warriors raised their spears in unison, the sound slicing through the air. Not one fired a shot. They just stood, an army of silent ghosts, waiting for Ethan's signal. Ethan dismounted, walked up to Harlan, and dropped a pouch of coins at his feet, the same one that had been scattered days ago. You can keep the change, he said quietly. But from now on, you'll deal fair with every man who rides into this town. Harlan stared, trembling. And if I don't? Ethan turned slightly, looking at the sea of painted faces watching from the ridge. Then they come back. Next time, they won't be quiet. For a long moment, the only sound was the wind. Then Harlan nodded quickly. Fine, fine, I swear it. Ethan gave a single whistle. The warriors began to retreat, disappearing into the desert as swiftly as they'd come, leaving only dust and stunned silence behind. The people of Dry Creek never forgot that morning. From that day forward, no one called him half-breed again. He was the rancher of the dawn, the man who rode with 350 warriors, not to destroy, but to remind a town what respect meant. Years later, long after the frontier turned to dust and legend, old-timers would sit by the saloon fire and whisper about that day. They'd say, we laughed at him once. But when the sun rose over Dry Creek, we saw the truth. That boy didn't belong to one world or the other, he belonged to both. And neither forgot him. And somewhere out on the mesa, the desert wind still carries a faint echo of hooves and the whisper of a name. Ethan Cole, the young rancher they once humiliated, who rose at dawn with an army behind him.